So Mykhailo Mudryk has gone to Chelsea, and the big question is, who are Arsenal signing? Who are our next targets? Will Arsenal sign anyone by the end of the January transfer window? Fabrizio Romano has been speaking about this story, and he said at the moment Arsenal are discussing internally about targets. They do not know if they will sign a marquee signing because they invested a lot of groundwork in the Mykhailo Mudryk deal. For anyone to come in at Arsenal, it should be a well-researched, a player who's really, really well-researched, and a player they've followed for some time. And at the moment, there is an array of targets Arsenal are looking at. Can we get some of these deals in January? In my opinion, some of the deals we are looking at are actually atrocious, are actually very difficult to do in January. In this video, I'm going to be diving into the next targets that Arsenal are looking at, including Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, Rafa Leao, Leandro Trossard, Karim Mitoma, and Rafinha as well. With the latest coming in from Sky Sports Germany, that Arsenal are discussing internally the name Moussa Diaby. Now, I know this is frustrating. I know this is actually tiring, and if you feel your mental health is actually really affected by the transfer saga at Arsenal, I'm gonna say take a break. Take a week off from the Arsenal transfer speculation. Maybe take 2 weeks off, maybe a month, and then you will come back and you will find the updates on the channel. Just take a break. I did take a break as well. The times when I feel this Arsenal transfer saga is really draining. So take a break. Just take a break. Hit the like button for me though if you still feel we need to get signings done in January. Mykhailo has already said he wants signings. He doesn't care what time is left in the window. He wants signings and he wants them in January. So let's get this video to 500 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Massive thank you to all the people who have stood by me, because you know I don't manufacture the news. I react to the news and I bring you the latest around the club. Now, let's get into the targets. First and foremost, Leandro Trossard has been offered to Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I understand Trossard is a player that Mykhailo has followed for some time. I cannot say he's Arsenal's biggest priority after Mykhailo Mudryk. There are other players, there are other targets that Arsenal view as better players than Leandro Trossard, especially in terms of the financial deal. Trossard is 29. If Arsenal were to sign him, he would actually sign a 3.5 year deal, or probably 3 years. And I don't think Mykhailo is looking in that direction. In my opinion, I think Mykhailo is looking at players that can actually come in at the club between 23 to 24 years of age and then create a massive impact in the long run. But Leandro Trossard has actually fallen out with the manager, Diaby. A few outlets are actually claiming that he has attitude problems. Diaby, in the last interview before they went into the weekend, he said, I've talked to Trossard. He's not actually going to play in the next game. And when he knew that, he actually walked away from training. So there is that kind of opportunity. He's been offered to Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. Brighton, however, although the player's contract is expiring in 2023, he can walk for free in the summer. They're still saying they want in excess of 20 million euros. And for me, it's a straight no. If we cannot sign Mykhailo Mudryk, who is 22, who's going to play for Arsenal for the next 8 years, there's no way we are investing 20 million euros in Leandro Trossard. So he is a target. Mykhailo desperately needs someone in. Mykhailo desperately needs a player to come in and provide that kind of cover, provide that kind of a squad depth. Yeah, maybe, right? Just maybe Leandro Trossard, if he was available on a free right now, if he was available for around 5 million euros or 6 million euros, I think it's a deal that I would recommend Arsenal to do. But 20 million euros, because what I understand is that Spurs have sent in a 13 million euro bid and it has been turned down by Brighton, who want more money. How dare they ask for more than 15 million euros for a player whose contract runs down in 2023 and the player was already falling out with the manager? He's not even going to train again with Brighton. He might not even never play again with Brighton. The agent has already come out officially and he said, look, the best thing to do is Diaby to sell the player to get his dream move away from Brighton, and that is going to be the only solution to the discrepancies and grievances between Brighton and Leandro Trossard. So don't get me wrong, I love Trossard, great player, so many goal involvements for Brighton for the last 4 years. But for me, right about now, 20 million euros is not a deal for us to do. Now, the other player is that we are looking at is also from Brighton in the Premier League. Not yet so much Premier League proven, but it's a player that is actually having a lot of hype around him, is Kaoru Mitoma. Now, Brighton, we look at themselves as a very, very lucky side because they've done perfect replacements when it comes to transfers. Of course, Mykhailo Caicedo for Bissouma, Kaoru Mitoma for Leandro Trossard, and Solimatch as well. You know, a player who I think actually deserves more game time. And if Trossard actually leaves, then Solimatch is going to be the player that we see more of the time influencing things for Brighton. But Kaoru Mitoma has a problem that he still has a very, very long-term deal. And I think De Zerbi will be looking, as a new manager, will be looking to keep some of these new signings, some of these new players, you know, at the side. I don't think it's a deal Arsenal can do in January. We are desperate. And I don't want us to splash 80, 90 million on Kaoru Mitoma. He's not worth it. Just like I said with Mykhailo Mudryk, not worth 100 million euros. Kaoru Mitoma is not worth even 70 million pounds. So in my opinion, Arsenal should just come down when it comes to Kaoru Mitoma. Wait until the summer. Let's wait and see how he does for the remainder of the season. Can he add to his goal tally? Can he be can he be of assistance in terms of, you know, assisting other players? I think it's good. I think he's a very, very young, good, very good young lad. Scores goals, runs a lot, very fast. Good in 1v1 situations, has a lot of awareness, you know, on the ball and off the ball as well. I just like him. I just like him as a player. But we should not get carried away. And when I said do not get carried away, what I mean in that instance is that in the end, it's gonna come back to bite us. It will come back to bite us. If for instance, Arsenal spend 60 or 70 million pounds on Kaoru Mitoma and it doesn't work out, no club is actually going to give you 50 million pounds in Kaoru Mitoma. His resale value is not yet there. Don't get me wrong, young, talented, big prospect. Big prospect. 70 million? No. 60 million? No. I think the highest Arsenal should go for Kaoru Mitoma right now is 45 million. And I think he doesn't move in January. Now, the next player is one that actually I think the chances of signing him at Arsenal in January are absolutely zero, and that is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. I prefer to call him Kvaratskhelia because literally that is English, but him himself, the player, has actually come out and said, the way you pronounce my name is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. At Napoli right now, Napoli are enjoying the same ride as Arsenal in the Italian Serie A. They are on top of the table. They're doing magic. They're doing wonders. In their last game, Kvaratskhelia did score, of course, and assisted one of the goals that Victor Osimhen scored. But what's important is that they beat Juventus 5-1. Embarrassed Juventus, disgraced Juventus, torn Juventus apart, and blew them away. And the guy with the magic win, the guy with the magic stick in that Napoli side is none other than Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. I think he must be the most expensive hot prospect in football right now. He must be. Because when you look at the epitome of a winger, when you look at what you're looking for in a winger, it should be what Kvaratskhelia has. Ability in 1v1 situations, ability in tight spaces, ability to score goals, create chances, run, dribble, do everything. Kvaratskhelia is a player that I would literally ask Arsenal to spend 200 million euros on. And you had me right. I would spend 200 million euros on the Georgian winger. He is absolutely phenomenal. Now, what Napoli, of course, have done is absolutely phenomenal business. They've literally brought him from wherever he's been, from Georgia, brought him into the side and incorporated him. He's done wonders. He's actually done very, very well. And to the extent that they're thinking about winning the title, it is courtesy of Kvaratskhelia. But the question is now, Cossy, does it work in January? And how much would the deal cost if it was going to work anyway, whether in the summer or in January? This is what I'm going to say. Napoli, right now, they do have Politano as well. They do have a couple of other, exciting, players, especially on the flanks. But they're not going to let any single player go? Actually, you would be stupid right now to walk away from Napoli and join Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, Arsenal on top of the table, Napoli on top of the table as well. But this is the difference. The opposition in the Italian Serie A right now is as weak as impotent men. And in my opinion, Napoli have already won the Italian Serie A. Unless there is a massive injury on Kvaratskhelia, Politano, who else? All these other big, names that the boys have. But unless otherwise, in my opinion, they have actually won. They do have a good squad. Squad depth is also available, and the amount of games they're playing, per week is actually very, very favorable. So, in my opinion, Kvaratskhelia doesn't walk away from Napoli. They cannot let him go. If they're asking 100 million euros for my man, Victor Osimhen, they're going to ask for 200 million euros in Kvaratskhelia. And for me, he's just signed last summer. I don't see how he walks even in the summer. In the summer, maybe, if a club like Manchester City come in and splash that 150 million euros, maybe. Because Napoli do sell. There is no question about that. They always sell. They do sell. When there is an opportunity to get the money in, they've always embraced those opportunities. And most especially when they win the league, we've seen it with Inter Milan. When they win the league, Italian giants tend to sell. We've seen it with AC Milan. When they won the league, they sold a few players, including Thiago, Silva, and a couple of others. We've seen it with Juve at times. When they win the league, they're okay to let some players go. And Inter Milan literally, disrupted their whole squad by selling it. Romelu Lukaku, Achraf Hakimi, and a couple of other players. So, in my opinion, I still think Kvaratskhelia could be on the market in the summer, but in January, not a doable deal. The other player is Rafa Leao. Now, the good thing with Rafa Leao is that he has contract situations. He has contract issues, and Arsenal can easily think about skyrocketing the price and skyrocketing the terms and conditions of the deal. That is one way you can get Rafa Leao from AC Milan to Arsenal. Now, of course, one thing I love about Milan is that they always bottle contracts of players. Frank Kessié, left on a free. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, left on a free. Gigi Donnarumma, left on a free. All those are signings, all those are players, all those are deals that could have earned AC Milan a total of 100 million euros if they had decided to sell. Çalhanoğlu to Inter Milan, that should have been like 30 million euros. Frank Kessié to Barcelona, that could have been like 30 million euros. And Gigi Donnarumma to PSG, a minimum of 50 million euros. So they just blew away, they just let go of 110 million euros, just for free. And I think that's the problem that Milan have been facing. Though the big question here, guys, is Rafa Leao, can he walk in January? In my opinion, Milan don't have anything much they are chasing. They're looking at a Rafa Leao who is willing to stay, by the way, but can they turn down 95 million euros for Rafa Leao? Can they do that? I don't see them do that, but I think they will be looking for something more. That is the catch. They'll be looking at Rafa Leao and they'll go, okay, if he doesn't want to stay, or if we want to sell him, let us wait until the summer, where so many clubs are interested, and we will skyrocket the price, and anyone can give us above 100 million euros. After Mudryk signing for 100 million euros, damn you, Chelsea. All these other big signings, all these other big wingers that are better than Mudryk are going to go for in excess of 100 million euros. So it's again a deal that financially doesn't happen in January, but it will happen in the summer. If any club wants Rafa Leao, that is the deal to do in the summer. Now, another player is Rafinha. We wanted him in the summer, decided to join Barcelona. According to Fabrizio Romano, the player 100% wants to stay at FC Barcelona. He doesn't have any interest in signing for Arsenal. He doesn't have any thoughts of leaving Barcelona right now. But Fabrizio says Barcelona, as a way of coping with the financial situation they are in, maybe. Just maybe. Maybe it could change in the next few weeks. But as Cossy, I've seen transfers come and go. This one has gone. Okay, Edu with his Brazilian, I don't know what, he's so obsessed with the Brazilian players. Let him go. It is gone. Let us focus on other players. Rafinha, he's going to, Barcelona have slapped a 100 million euro price tag on the player. What has he achieved ever since coming from Leeds United? He's actually dropped in terms of performances. He's actually, apart from the big contract he has, what makes him a 100 million euro player? What? For me, nothing. So Arsenal should walk away from that. And my favorite, lastly, according to Sky Sports Germany, we will be discussing this one later on the show as well. So according to Sky Sports Germany, they have just released this story that Arsenal internally, I don't know how they've got this, internal story, but they're saying Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby is a topic at Arsenal. The 23-year-old Frenchman is under contract with Leverkusen until 2025. So it's going to be very, very expensive. Sky Sports Germany. It's going to be expensive because Arsenal have pulled out 95 million euros for Mykhailo Mudryk. It's going to be expensive because everyone knows we are walking around with a big bag full of cash. It's going to be expensive because everyone knows for us to win the title, we will need someone to sign in January. That's why it's going to be expensive. And I don't want to talk about this topic anymore. That is it. Those are the targets. I'll see you soon.